Hello again from Vlore, Albania. I'm Leslie and this is Jason, and we are early retirees traveling around the world. This is our next to last day in Vlore. We've been here for 24 days, something like that. And we are wrapping up today with our last day here. It hasn't been a very thrilling month, but
Relaxing.
Yeah.
Same thing we do at home.
Yeah, just living life. There aren't a lot of tourist attractions here, so unlike our trip to Spain where we had things to visit, we haven't really had things to visit here. But we continue to get up and walk. We have our favorite walk to the tunnel and back. There's a lot of really good people watching. And as the weeks have progressed, it's becoming more of Albanian beach season. So there's really good people watching. There's a beach club down there, different things to look at.
Watching tourism pick up.
Yeah, and all they're doing to get ready for tourism, painting things.
Emptying trash
Emptying
cans.
the garbage.
Cleaning the beach.
They plowed
the beach.
the
I don't know.
beach.
They did something to
It looks like they
Yeah.
just plowed it with a tractor.
less trash.
Yeah.
Just fixing buildings up, signs.
So it's been interesting to watch all of the beach umbrellas get set up, where when we first got here, the beach was empty, but now all the beach clubs are getting stuff set up. And
Still kind of empty, but the weekends are crowded.
yeah, because we were here for Easter, and then they had a holiday. I forget what the holiday was.
Some 4-day
So it was
holiday.
like a 4-day holiday, so that was a really busy weekend too. So Tuesday and Wednesday are really nice because everything sort of quiets down.
Although this weekend was really quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're continuing to work out in the morning. We did take a couple-day break for your bum hip.
For hip issues.
And it's not like we're doing anything strenuous, but
That's getting old.
we did work out this morning.
Slowly.
Yeah. It's a different type of working out.
Old people work out.
Yeah. Not quite sit and be fit, but
Yeah.
a couple years old.
It's getting there.
But the weather's been really beautiful, I think. It's been low to mid 70s. We did have a couple upper 70s days, which I felt was a little too hot.
Cooler actually than you would think.
Yeah, like in the evenings I'll put pants on when we go back out because we've had a lot of wind. Like the water's been really choppy. So we have put our feet in, and we talked about getting in, but it's been kind of choppy.
Yeah.
There are places that have like stairs into the ocean, which is why I felt like I might get in, because I don't really like ocean water. But it's so many waves that
And it seems cold.
it does seem cold.
There's a lot of kids that get in and
Yeah.
scream. So
And old men that like do their little
yeah.
swimming routines. We're not sure whether it's the Adriatic or the Ionian.
I think it's somewhere right between.
So we
There's
don't know.
a strait that comes through. And it's somewhere
In the middle.
in the middle. Maybe when we walk south, it's Ionian. When we walk north, it's Adriatic.
I'll go with that.
Sure.
The only things I'm not liking still, the street dogs. It's still really hard to see those dogs, especially any dog that looks like a recent mother. They look pretty skinny. We did see one man mistreat his dog. It was. He's hit a German Shepherd on the head
I
with a
didn't see
water
it.
bottle.
I mean, I heard it, but I didn't.
And it wasn't nice. So
I mean, maybe he was just playing around.
I watched it. He was being
Okay.
mean. So that's hard for me, as you can tell. Jason just said, it is what it is.
Well, it is what it is.
Although we did watch a documentary about Albanian history after the war, and they were such a closed society, because they did not, correct me when I'm wrong, they decided to just go by themselves. So they cut off contact with every other country. They didn't have support.
Well, they did. Russia for a while.
Yeah.
China for a while. But mostly they tried to make a run for doing it by themselves.
So that really put them behind in technology and industry and public services. So it is a country that is more developing, and I guess they don't see the love of animals quite yet, but it's still a struggling
I'm sure some people did.
life. Well, we've
It's
seen
just-
some people with,
Yeah, it's just kind of what you investigate or invest your time in. Invest your time in.
or investing.
Yeah.
We did see a dog getting a pup cup at the ice cream shop, and then we realized the people were speaking like American English, so that really kind of was shocked. And then,
They probably brought their dog over.
and then I don't like that there's a lack of walking. We can really only go a couple routes where the sidewalk's acceptable. All the side streets are, if they're paved, they're not.
It's like walking in the woods. You gotta constantly be looking down
Yeah.
to avoid a twisted ankle or falling in a hole or tripping, something.
Yeah, because the bricks are uneven.
So it is like walking in the woods.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did get our street paved this past week. That was interesting, because it's the only way to get in and out to our apartment. And one day we're walking out and they're doing road work, and we're walking down the street and they're scraping and doing all this stuff, and they finally stop the equipment, and the guy goes like this, which
To us.
is that,
Like we're
I was
walking.
like, is that backhoe? Is that come? We didn't know.
I took it as back up, but apparently that wasn't what it meant.
So we went through, but like,
Well, then he did it more, and then he sort of indicated,
maybe to walk
like,
through.
go this way. I don't know, something. Or we just kept walking.
We
I
just
guess.
went. But we had to climb over like the pile of dirt they were working on to get through. And then they did do paving.
Yeah.
And they did it in 2 days, so we really didn't get trapped. We went out later that second day. So, because I really did not want to walk next to asphalt being poured, which is probably what they would
I
have
don't
me
think,
do.
yeah. I don't think there's any plan for people moving by. Yeah, they just keep working.
Yeah. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
We had another interesting outing. We went to, we call it Hermes. We don't know how they pronounce it. The airport bus company. And that's the company that we rode the bus here from the airport. And as far as we can tell, it's the only company that goes back to the airport. You think that's right?
The only one I've seen
Yeah.
online and in videos. And
So other buses go to Tirana, but they go to either the south-north, I think they go to south-north
South North.
bus
Or
station, or now there's an east bus station, neither of which are near the center of town, nor is the airport.
Yeah.
So we had decided we were going to take the airport bus to the airport, then take the same company bus to Shkodër to get there. So we did a walk to get information to confirm.
Fortunately, it was a busy day too. I think that helped in our decision making.
Yeah.
It was a crazy weekend day, wasn't it? I don't know. It was a really busy day. It was like a
Yeah.
Friday or something.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
Or Thursday. Anyway.
So there's a lot going on in the street. A lot of honking. A lot of just
Traffic.
noise and driving crazy and
Which stresses
people
me
on
out.
motorcycles. Electric bikes flying everywhere. And, yeah.
So we go to the office, and Jason has typed out in his phone,
In Google Translate.
yeah, is the bus running at 7 a.m. on
On
Tuesday?
Tuesday.
And do we get the bus here? So we walk in, and it's a different culture. You know, we're from the United States,
Yes.
where it's service with a smile.
A smile.
And here that is not the culture.
You don't get cheese or fries with it. Right?
I mean, you get no reaction, whether it's the grocery store.
Yeah.
Waiters seem a little
Yeah,
better,
they're better.
but the bakery, the fruit market, I mean, you just get like a blank stare.
Yeah.
They will, unwillingly, if I say Pershendetia, which is hello, they'll mumble it back, or if I say Palamandera, thank you, when we leave, they'll kind of mumble it, but they're not the,
They don't initiate.
So, we walk.
In our experience. Could be completely wrong.
If you had more YouTube viewers, you gotta edit.
Yeah.
So, we walked in, and there were two people in there. She was on her phone. There was another guy.
Like the computer.
Or something.
They make glance.
She kind of looked up from her phone, but really wasn't too interested in us.
Well, you don't know. I don't know what, do you walk in and do you
did say Pershendetia.
Yes, I did. Because I figured I didn't know what else to do. So you have to, but I don't know what the culture is, like do you walk in and, like we would walk in US or somewhere else and they would, hi, can we help you?
Yeah.
But
That's not the greeting here. So, and we're not sure if they speak English, so you don't want to just assume and start speaking in English. So you handed her the phone.
Yeah, to look at it.
And she looks up. Well, she kind of like begrudgingly put her phone down.
Well, we say begrudging.
I think so.
In her culture, it may have been normal. Yeah.
So she looks up and she says, yes. So one word answer to both of those questions. And because they shake their head the different way, she said, yes.
Yeah.
So you got a no head shake
Yeah.
in our culture. And she just kind of sat there, and I finally said, and we get the bus here? And she said, yes. And I think about that time.
Well, we started to turn around. We were like,
Yeah.
okay. So we started turning around. And then that other lady came in.
Another lady that spoke English. I don't think she was American. But
She had already come in, so she caught the very end of the conversation, I guess.
yeah, and then the lady at the desk did say, you need to buy 1 or 2 days early.
I think actually the lady who walked in said, yes, you get the bus here and you need to buy 1 or 2 days early. And then the other lady behind the counter said, yes, you need to buy it.
So we're like, okay. But we've read reviews where if you buy it early, they still oversell the bus. You might be sitting in the aisle on a little stool for a 2.5 hour bus ride. And then just
So in other words, buying the ticket early may not give you any.
It may not guarantee that you get a seat.
It doesn't
on
even
that
guarantee
bus.
a seat, and yeah.
And we were going to take the 7 a.m. bus because there are 2 Skoda buses at different times, so we wanted to make sure we got there in time. Or if we couldn't get on the 7, hopefully we could get on the 9 and still get on those buses. And we'd have to leave here at like 6 in the morning to get a cab.
Either get a cab or walk, carrying all
Walk
of our
40
stuff.
minutes with our backpacks.
Which we were planning on sort of doing because we were like, do we want to get in the
Yeah,
cab?
we want to deal with the cab and that one. So we've decided. Well, I let you make the decision.
Well, we weren't even sure there was going to be a cab there at 6 in the morning.
Yeah, so we were going to have to figure that out.
Yeah.
So Jason made the executive decision, I think.
Well, I was always kind of leaning towards.
I'm cheap, so I was like,
So that's why I
we
said
gotta
it
take
worked
the
out
bus.
well that it was a crowded day with
You
lots
got
of
your way.
noise. That we're like, oh my gosh, this is chaos.
Yeah, we're just going to get a
Let's
taxi.
just take the taxi. Some things in life are just easier to.
And I mistakenly showed you a meme several weeks ago.
So that's like a month ago, couple months.
And it said, the greatest travel hack.
A guy was standing there and he said, you want to know what the greatest travel hack is?
Money.
Yeah, he's like, have money.
Yeah.
So, which is very true.
True. So we could afford it. We were way under budget last month, so, and we could afford it even if not. So we decided we're going to take a taxi. So we went to a little tourism
What, the cluster?
TripAdvisor, or not TripAdvisor, travel agent, I think, type person.
The Clust app?
The Clust.
Yeah.
So there's this thing called Clust, which is a very weird name.
It's a company, Clust.
Yeah.
But it's like...
You can book a cab on it.
Yeah, I think it's only here, though.
Yeah. But they have an office, and we walk by it 3 or 4 times a day. So we just went in there, and you talked to the lady, and she's like, yeah, we can get a taxi, and we have an app.
Which I'd already downloaded the app.
Yeah.
I already looked at the prices, which seemed kind of high.
So it was going to
But
be...
it's the only place with it's like an Uber app. It's the exact same thing. But you can't schedule in the future.
Yeah.
They're working on that.
So it was going to be 130 euro through them to
Yeah.
go to the Tirana airport. So that's we have like a 2.5-hour bus ride. It's probably shorter in the car.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, but we'd have to go back and arrange it. So we just decided there's always taxis at the end of our street. So we got the courage
Yeah.
and talked to a taxi driver. And he didn't speak English.
Yeah, he didn't speak very...
But
he probably did, but
well,
he just didn't feel comfortable.
we asked if he went to the airport, and we think he held up 8.
We asked him how much. Yeah, and he did show us
He
a
said
number,
something.
but he did it so quick, and then he kind of got nervous, I think, and
your Google Translate wasn't working.
I couldn't get the internet wasn't fast enough to get it to pull up stuff, and he couldn't get his to work because he was trying to do something.
So we just kind of all stood there for a minute or two. So he called, I guess, the office, the taxi office, and a woman there spoke English. So you spoke to her on the speakerphone on a very crowded, noisy street, and she said a ride to Tirana Airport was 80 euro. So 80 euro versus 130 for the same drive. And she said just you can call or send us a WhatsApp message to arrange it.
Which we like messaging. Yeah. Plus that way you have proof of what.
Yeah, you have it in writing for how much the trip is. So at that point we didn't talk about Skoda with them or anything. So you later sent them a message.
Prime Taxi.
And they said the trip to Skoda would be 150 euro, right?
Yep.
150 euro.
Yeah, and they actually replied to the message.
She said thank you.
In a timely fashion.
Yeah. So we booked that for tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So instead of leaving at 6 in the morning, I think it's going to work.
I hope so.
But
otherwise, we'll be on the Clust app.
I have no expectation. So instead of getting at 6 in the morning and trying to get out of our Airbnb and get all the garbage out, and we get to leave at 11. So it's really worth the money for the amount of anxiety, especially I would have. And you would probably pay anything to not deal with the anxiety
Yeah.
that I end up having about it.
Other stuff too, just comfort.
Yeah.
You know, bus, if you don't get a seat, or some of those seats like you had, and
Yeah, like the
you
wheel
have
well,
the wheel
so my
well,
feet
and
were...
something's there, and my knees can't do that.
And hopefully we get a non-smoking driver, but I doubt we don't get that lucky. But
No, you don't know.
I'm hopeful, but have low expectations.
Yeah, you just don't know.
You can't have expectations, or you'll be disappointed.
Well, hopefully they'll be there. If not, we'll be talking to the dude that sits there saying,
Well, we
"Hey."
can message the office.
Yeah, that's true too.
I think.
Yeah, we don't have any.
We're
we
not
don't
in
have
a hurry.
time or
No,
anything, yeah.
we just picked 11 o'clock because we can't check in till 2.
Which is much better than depending on a bus trying to figure all that.
So I feel good about it. I hope for the best.
Mm-hmm.
I'll prepare for the worst. But I kind of feel like we're cheating, not doing the true Albanian experience, but I'm not cut out for the true Albanian.
The adventure.
The adventure. I don't do well with things that aren't planned. So I think it's well worth. It's probably gonna be close to 200 US by the time we tip the guy with the conversion rate, but it is what it is. So that's been our most exciting thing. We started feeding the street dog.
That would be the most exciting.
That's the most exciting thing. So I decided that I was going to start feeding them which
I
I
don't
probably
remember
should
what
have
the-
been done.
Oh, after reading about the poison.
Yeah, so on a couple forums on Facebook that I have for Albanian travel, they talk about the local governments go around and poison dogs, and the bike race that just came through town.
And we can't prove any of that.
Well, they did have pictures of 2 dead dogs.
Oh, they did. But that doesn't mean they poisoned them.
No, but the puppies that were up the street,
Have disappeared.
7 puppies on this forum, expats were taking care of them, had them vaccinated, and they were poisoned, allegedly,
According to them.
according to them. And they are not there anymore.
We haven't seen them. But we might not have been at the right time.
Anyway, he's trying to be
Well,
politically
you don't,
correct.
yeah, you don't know what they do. We don't
So
know.
I have decided the only thing I can do to make my life reconcile a little better and make the dogs happy is feed them. So I bought these little chicken hot dogs, and now I chop them up and carry them around. The first days we fed one dog, and he followed us for quite a while. And he was really friendly. I think we could have pet him.
Yeah.
There was another,
We don't pet them.
we don't pet them, scrawny dog that we fed them. So a lot of them are very skittish because
Yeah.
I think they're treated poorly. So like,
We're assuming they're treated poorly.
like if you walk too quickly by them, they kind of start or run
And they
off.
don't jump for food. You put the food down.
No, and they're very.
And we don't get close to them. You put the food down,
And
I
walk
don't know,
away.
a couple yards away, and they don't. It's not like I'm going to come over and eat this food right away.
Our
It's-
dog that wasn't starving would have
Yeah.
been on the food
Oh,
faster
yeah.
than these.
They kind of hesitate and wait
Yeah.
for you to move, and then they come eat the food.
So we've been feeding the dogs, and then we found one of the mommy dogs yesterday, and that made me really happy. So
And we fed another dog, and then we almost got smashed at the race.
he almost got smashed at the race. So the Giro
De
Italia. I doubt it's Giro, but
Yeah.
Giro.
Euro
It's a big Italian like Tour de France bike race.
di Italiano.
Came through this town yesterday, and I fed
It's one of the toughest portions of the races in
because of
Albania.
the mountain. And tomorrow they're back in Italy
Yeah.
for the rest of it. So it had like 2 parts in Albania, and then they go back to Italy or something. So we went to watch the bike race. I took my little sausages and fed the dog, and then I was like, well, that was not smart because the dog's like across the street looking for it. And then the race is coming. So they come in like this pack of 100 bikes.
A bunch
And
of police cars in front.
police
and-
cars and motorcycles, and then behind it is the support cars with all the bikes. And they had just gone through, and I see out the corner of my eye this cute little dog
Like
running,
all the crowd, and no one else would even spot this dog.
running towards the middle of the road where all these support cars are flying by. And I was like, of course, I immediately like,
Oh
look
my
out.
god!
He's gonna get hit. And I thought this dog is going to die in front of my face. I don't know where it went. Later, I saw it across the street laying in front of a restaurant, so I don't know if it. Because the dogs don't really care about traffic. They just cross the street, and the drivers here.
Well, but they do stop.
They do.
We've seen them.
But some of them drive very fast,
Yeah.
so they might not be able to stop. And then these
Yeah.
cars were going. So I nearly had a heart attack, but the dog is still alive.
As of last night.
As of last night. We haven't been out yet to feed the
Yeah.
dogs, but I've got a whole baggie full of food.
Yeah.
But that bike race is kind of cool. I mean, I would never go out of my way to see it.
Yeah, it's fair.
The best part was they shut down the main street for the entire day.
Pretty much the entire day, which made it very nice walking.
No cars, no trucks,
It's just
no
quiet.
motorcycles. So we could walk, and it was so peaceful. And then all week long was the Albanian paragliding accuracy competition. Something like that.
Something.
So they paraglide off the mountain right over there, and they have to land on a target on the ground.
Little square on the ground.
And they get scored, and they have a speaker where they announce the score and judges, and
Not real thrilling.
No.
Probably more thrilling to do it than.
I mean, even the people that were
To
paragliders
watch.
watching weren't really thrilled about it, but
I mean, it's okay.
it's fun to watch. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
for a
kind of,
couple minutes. Yeah.
yeah. But that would happen for like 5 days in a row, I think.
And the bike race is a big deal. That was 2 helicopters at least
3
coming along
speedboats.
sideways, filming the thing. 1 helicopter right over top of the road filming.
Yeah.
So it was like Tour de France.
But like the main pack went by and
Then you're
10 seconds, and everyone dispersed, and we just kind of hung out for a while. And then you'd see like 1 bike, and then you'd see more motorcycles come, and you'd have 10 bikes, and then.
Well, there was like 1 other big pack that came.
Yeah, but then not the lead packs, these rear packs, the guys would drive by, and they're all talking.
Yeah,
it was funny. Like
talking as
they're riding and talking.
Young people.
And then they finished this race like up into the part of the town, and we were walking looking for dogs, and they start riding back. So they went and rode 160 kilometers. That was that portion. Went to the finish line, and then we're riding back, I guess, to where they were going to load their bikes up or something. Because then you see big buses, vans that they load the bikes in. It's a very...
I can't imagine how much money.
Yeah.
They throw their water bottles on the ground.
Yeah, and then we saw a
You
guy
can collect them.
coming around collecting the water bottles.
Because
like
they have
souvenirs.
the name of the company.
Yeah. So it was interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting.
But that was like our most exciting. We saw a turtle.
Yep.
What
A
was
couple weeks ago.
the name of that turtle?
Herman's turtle.
Yeah, so we're walking down a very busy, not the main street, but like another pretty busy side street. And he's on the ledge, like, of the curb, which is probably a 6 or 8 inch curb. And I was
Enough to break your ankle
like,
off. They're sure to do that.
I was shocked. So we got the turtle and put him in the grass, and he was quick.
Yeah.
But that was really exciting.
I'm sure he went back out there. They're very common here after I read about them.
But it was surprising for me.
Yeah.
And then we've been out.
They look like somebody's pet. Kind of like where he was at in the city.
And he
you'd be
didn't
like,
go
"This is
in a
somebody's
shell. But if you live in a city, you're probably not scared of things.
Yeah.
So most turtles in the country
Are afraid.
go in their shell and they don't come out when you can move them. But this guy like
Maybe it's that breed.
hung his little arms and legs out the whole time. And then we've been out to dinner. So I think the last day we were filming, we were going out for a traditional Albanian seafood dinner.
It was the last day.
Yeah. And we did. So we got this fried, mixed, small plate of mixed fried seafood, which a small plate was like this big, piled high, lots of fish heads.
Well, I mean, there was fish
Whole
attached.
fish. So it was more whole fish than I was anticipating. So the bottom had a whole fish, at least like that, I think. And then there are all these other little
Smaller
Smaller
fish. All
fish.
kinds of just truly probably brought in
Yeah.
locally from the sea.
And it was okay. Jason could not believe that I actually ate
Yeah.
it. But I had prepared myself.
Yeah.
Looking online, I knew what it was going to look like, with the exception of the number of fish,
We just don't have a lot of practice eating
like whole fish.
fish with bones and stuff like that.
And they were little bones.
Yeah, little bones.
But we warmed up to it at
Yeah,
the end.
that was good. It was kind of like eating crabs.
And we had fish soup, which is supposed to be really good. It was good, but it tasted like chicken noodle soup.
Yeah.
And then I was wondering, where did they get all these little chunks of fish? Is it from people's leftover fish? So that kind of freaked me out.
Yeah.
But that was good. We've tried burek, spelled B-Y-R-E-K.
Yeah.
I describe it as like a large spanakopita. So it's like fluffy, not fluffy, flaky
Yeah.
pastry. Ours were supposed to be 1 cheese and 1 spinach, and they both had spinach, and I'm not.
I think they tasted different.
They
to me,
tasted different, but I didn't see any cheese.
I don't know.
We should have gone for the potato one.
But the guy didn't speak good English.
Yeah, he was trying to find someone to like explain them to us, and we just picked, and
He couldn't find anybody, so he
Yeah.
just said good enough.
we didn't heat them up. We probably should have put them in the oven. It was okay. It
It was
costed
great.
like $2 for.
Yep.
I mean, each piece was like a slice of pizza. So
I'd eat it again.
I'd eat it again.
And we'd eat that fish again, too.
Yeah, I would eat that fish again. And then we went to a different restaurant and had grilled shrimp and grilled octopus, and that was excellent. and we may go back today.
Mm-hmm. No octopus though. Oh, the octopus was really good.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna try the shrimp.
Yeah, we're gonna go grilled shrimp and fried shrimp combo, and that, like, again, I ordered grilled shrimp. It was 1,200 lek, which is about 12 euros, so $13, and I probably had a dozen shrimp.
I would guess.
At
It was
least.
a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, enough to where you're kind of like, oh man, I gotta
yeah.
eat more shrimp.
But even,
And the octopus is the same way. It was a lot of octopus.
and that giant plate of seafood was €8.
Yeah.
So
And this place was more expensive, but octopus, a whole, I don't know if that was a whole octopus or, but $15.
yeah, 1,500 lek or €15.
Probably a little bit
Probably
more than
$16.
Still,
like
in
that.
the U.S.,
So
if
we
you
had,
could find octopus,
yeah, it would be $1 million.
and sometimes they would cook it too much and be rubbery. So here it wasn't rubbery.
So we had grilled shrimp, grilled octopus, a plate of grilled vegetables, French fries, which they don't cook long enough anywhere.
I like soggy fries. Well, in our experience, the fries that we've had have been
And
a
we
little
both
soggy.
had a soda, and that was our most expensive meal. I think it came out through the credit card conversion at like $46 or something. And it was a lot of food.
And all the sodas are 330 mLs. I think in the U.S. they were what, 350 or something?
Yeah.
I can't remember. A little bit less than what you get in the U.S.
So that's
Little
the most,
sips.
yeah, you have to just take a little sips. That was most, because you have to wave them down if you wanted another
Yeah.
one, and they'd probably think you're crazy
Yeah.
for needing 2 drinks. We haven't been playing Rummy as much because Jason keeps winning and I keep getting
And then
angry.
there's that other game that you like that.
Oh, the speed game that now Jason can beat me, so we've stopped playing that. We'll go back to it. We started taking a credit card
Yeah, okay, get back to that.
points class, trying to figure out, we have all these credit card points, but we don't know how to use them. So we took the first part together, but we pretty much knew all that stuff. So the next part is confusing. We need to finish it. And then I've really been dragging my feet on booking our fall trip. I keep looking at flights. I hate spending money, but I like traveling. I just need to do it. And we've been writing down our observations since we haven't been doing anything thrilling.
Right.
So
11, 12, 13.
So I think this is odd,
Yeah.
but you really only see groups of men. If you see a group of, like, restaurants will have 3 or 4 men. You don't really see groups of 3 or 4 women. If you see women
In our experience.
that are local, seem to be local, they're with men.
Yeah, even that.
Even
It's
that.
not.
So I don't know if women have different places they hang out.
I don't know. I mean, younger women in
Yeah,
groups you'll
20s.
see, but not a lot.
No, but
not like the men.
Women our age, you don't see a group of 3 or 4 women
And
drinking coffee.
Maybe the men just stand out more. Too. I don't know, but it is just, like when we go to restaurants, it's always like a group of men.
Yeah. So
And it seems like
or
some of
walking
them are.
down the street, it's 4 to 6 men together. Even the
Yeah.
old strolling in the evening, it's mainly
Yeah, it's
men.
men. I don't know. That's
All
our
the-
impression.
All the people that ride bikes
Our men.
are men. We've seen,
Yeah, occasionally a woman. but Pretty
Occasionally.
rare.
and they're dressed as, they're not a local. So that's different.
Yeah, that's different. Not sure.
We have seen 2 car seats. We made a point to look. So twice we've seen car seats, and many more children not in car seats. The other thing that I can't get over is that we are on the ocean, and it's probably 4 miles of the promenade.
Yeah.
And there are very few people that run for exercise. So in the U.S., if you go to the beach, I feel like
Yeah, it'd be.
non-stop.
It'd be crowded.
So
But that's kind of true for, I don't know, like even in Spain.
yeah, with a lot of outdoor
Of course, it was out of
exercise.
season, but you probably have more in Spain. I don't know. Yeah, it's just different.
And I feel like we have seen people that, again, I feel like maybe they're more tourists than, it's just odd. I feel like in the United States, if you had
A big open beach to run on.
Beach
People would be running.
a sidewalk that's 6 foot wide, you'd see runners all day long.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, it doesn't seem to be, definitely compared to Spain, people drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
So even when you see these groups of 4 or 5 men, like at lunch the other day, I think they were, I'm gonna guess they were Russian, I don't know. But there were 4 men that sat down.
Belarusian.
They all ordered like Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Or you see men drinking coffee or soda,
Yeah.
an occasional beer.
Yeah, so you think groups of men would be more likely to order alcohol, but
And they're
It
men
doesn't
in
seem to
their
be
like
that way.
20s and 30s. So,
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's a whole different, where in Spain,
Yeah,
if you were out
everybody-
walking at 10 in the morning, everyone had alcohol at the restaurants. So maybe not 10, because we were
Not
never out at
everyone.
10. Prior to lunch,
You would see it much more often.
you would see it much more often.
Here you don't really. It's been like a handful of times I've seen people with a
Yeah.
beer, and yeah, it's just different.
Different culture. So
Yep.
that's our thrilling
That's
month in
our-
Vlore.
Exactly. It's been good.
I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Our apartment has made the stay really, really nice.
Yeah, very comfortable.
I'm acclimated. Like the things that we used to notice, like you were saying the other day, just look normal to us now.
Yeah.
Like we're like, oh, that's a really nice house. Or,
Yeah. It's just that
where
shot.
before, like the first week or two, we're like, oh, but now you
Yeah.
can find like
Like the sidewalk's not even bad anymore.
no, yeah, like
You're just used to the holes and you just avoid them.
or yeah, you kind of have an idea.
The trash doesn't stand out as much.
Yeah. But I feel like they have been cleaned.
They have
up.
cleaned it. And you know that they empty the bins, whereas before, like, you come and you see that bin full of trash and you're like, wow.
And we've seen garbage trucks.
Yeah, and on a frequent basis,
Yeah.
too. More frequent than you would think.
I mean, we didn't
Yeah.
see them till recently. And there are people that, I guess, recyclers. So there's
Recycle
a guy that we've seen very often that
Yeah.
will pull out like all the plastic jugs.
Hmm.
And he has on his bike a giant, like,
Yeah.
I'll call it a tote bag. I don't know what it's a giant container, but like
Yeah.
3 feet by 3 feet or something. But I'm kind of
Yeah.
sad to leave.
Yeah.
In a way.
We still got Tirana, but
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see the difference.
I am Montenegro. Apparently, vegetables are sold in the grocery store.
And the best part,
Oh, what's the
we
best
don't
part?
know. What's the best part about where we're at in the restaurant?
Oh,
We'll
right
see
down
that.
the street
You don't want to get too excited.
in Budva is a Thai restaurant, and we're going on
Like
Thursday.
5 minutes. 5 minutes walking, that's like including like getting out of the building.
Yeah,
I mean, it's right there.
right there. So
And it's got good reviews.
I'm
So-
very excited,
Let's see.
and we will be there our first day. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. So, thank you for listening to
Yep.
us.
Blah, blah, blah.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.